have like sweeping takeaways from a game like this where you're keeping everything very vanilla. But what did you think of just seeing them actually in kind of more of a game format?
Yeah, it was good in terms of just kind of working through some protocol, I guess, and getting lined up and running through some plays, some pretty base offense, base defense. Kind of put ourselves in position where, you know, you can play with a starting tackle next to backup guard, next to starting center, and then second string set third, you know, so it's just kind of, you don't necessarily see everybody working together, but you see everybody competing. And that's the cool part. And you want to see balls in the air, who's going to make a play. Balls in the air, and who's going to fight for it. And then, you know, we had some opportunities early on to connect on some passes, and we didn't. And then we had some passes that we connected on later. So, but it was a fun game. It stayed healthy. I think we stayed healthy. And that's really, for a spring game, when you decide to go live and you decide to do it, you know, like truly play a game, your number one goal is just to make sure everybody's healthy.
Josh Rosen didn't get much going on his first drives, and then had I think he completed 9 of 10 on that scoring drive. What did you see from him today?
Well, I think that first pass, I think he'd do a great ball that would have gone for about 20 or 25. The first we didn't catch it. Yeah. And then the second one, the second pass or so, I think we wound up checking it down. And then, you know, we just couldn't get it going. We tried a couple different things. We wanted to just kind of let him play. We wanted to get him the second series, try to get a pass in, and the ball gets picked off in the corner route. And then third series, we ran the ball on third down to see if we can get a little reverse. But then the fourth series, he came out and he did a nice drive. I mean, I think he hit on all his passes, and he looked good. He looked really comfortable. Looked like he was in rhythm. All the guys caught the ball, and then DA ended with a really nice route. So that was good. And then that was it for him. So it was nice to see him get that drive going, but we'd like to start faster.
How has your relationship with Josh evolved over the course of the spring?
Good. I think that it's gotten to a point where we spend time together, and he trusts that what we're going to tell him, you know, he's going to try to execute the best he possibly can, and I trust what he tells me. We need to work, you know, I need to understand it and then accommodate. And he'll kind of give me some suggestions on what he likes or what we can do for us to be successful. And I think that's a key part of being a great quarterback, is to learn that, able to communicate with your coach. And he does a great job of that. And now he's just learning all the reads. You know, there's things that came up today. That interception, I think he'll see that there was another guy open on that play, but maybe he threw it to that corner route 3 or 4 times in the last 2 weeks, so he felt comfortable with that. So he's really building, he's really learning, he's really growing, and he's really taking to coaching.
When you get into this next phase, how often will you two communicate and go over stuff?
Well, this next phase becomes the hardest phase of communication because of the fact that you do get 2 hours a week, you know, to be able to meet and communicate if we're not using all 8 hours in the weight room. So this next phase, we'll use all 8 hours in the weight room when we're on the road recruiting, and then after that, we'll find a little bit of time here or there. But really, for the most part, he understands. You know, there's what our reads are. There's cut up after cut up after cut up of NFL teams, college teams, our team running these plays, and it's up to him. Really, I tell our guys, this is a summer of improvement. You know, you've got to just absolutely find a way to get better at your craft. And that's on their own. And then when we get back August 2, when there's no hour rules during training camp, we'll be able to grind them into submission to try to figure out the best way to move the ball come September 3.
You said drops,
4 now, I did.
Drops continue to be an issue with the receivers. How concerning is that right now?
Yeah, well, I think we had 5 drops today. If I'm right, I think Al had a drop, and Laz had a drop, and Asiasi had a drop, and different guys, though, you know, it wasn't the same guy. So I always say, if it's the same guy dropping the ball, that's when you get nervous. If it's one guy dropping, if it's 4 different guys dropping the ball, what is it? Why did that happen? You know, and you know, one ball, you know, you throw into traffic, and that's on the quarterback. You know, throw it to the guy that's not having 3 guys about to hit him. Or another one is bring the ball down, and instead of making him reach up here, have him reach here. You know, make it more frameable, make it more catchable. So that's on us too, at the quarterback position, and the receivers that get on the judge machines. You know, just catch ball after ball after ball after ball after ball after ball after ball until you don't drop the ball anymore. That's really the best way to do it.
Are you pretty happy with how much installation you put in spring?
Yeah, football-wise, we're fine. We have enough plays in. We just need to execute them better, you know, and just play faster. Don't think as much, and with that will come just repetition. You know, now the plays are in, the foundation's been laid, and training camp is really just you take spring ball and you repeat it twice. And, you know, just run the same plays over and over and over and over and over until they finally get to be able to execute the plays you put in.
How can they get better execution-wise between now and August 2nd?
Run those plays. Run those plays on air. Run those plays against our defense when our coaches aren't out there. Just run our offense and just practice our offense and practice our offense and practice our offense continuously. And just, you know, don't just, if you're a quarterback, you go through your reads, you go through your progressions, you get a feel, and you study film. The more you put in, the more you'll get out.
How much do you want your quarterback to say yes, sir, when you tell him something, or how much do you want him to ask questions?
Well, I think it's, you know, I think there's always the why, you know, and I think it's a coach's job to explain the why or the purpose, and then I think it's a player's job, once they hear the why or hear the purpose, to then ask, how do I do it? So the question they should ask is how, and we should answer the why. And I think that's kind of where, you know, I grew up with that mentality, and I think that's a great way to have that coach-player relationship, that it's our job as coaches to explain to them we're never going to put them in a position that they don't know why we're putting them in it.
You won't really know until you get into games with Josh, but he's a lot of whys in his life.
Yeah, that's okay. That's great. I hope that I'm able to answer those questions. I've been around some good quarterbacks and good coaches, and they should ask. They should want to know why. That's what they should want to know that, and they should want to know if we call a play, you know, why are we calling it? Why do I think that play is going to work? Why, you know, should he go to the X receiver if I mark him off for completing a touchdown to the Z? You know, because maybe one time you'll throw a touchdown, the other 6 it might be picked. That's why you go to the X, for example. But you know, he's been fantastic. He's been fantastic.
Does he remind you of anyone that you've worked with?
No, not really.
You said you were happy with how much installation you've gotten to do. How does the level of comfort compare to where you were after the first spring practice when you went to Michigan?
Well, the biggest difference after the first spring practice at Michigan is our quarterback wasn't there. He transferred in June 25th from Iowa. So we went through the whole first spring at Michigan, and the starting quarterback for the opening day wasn't even on the roster. So that, and the starting slot receiver wasn't on the roster. He came, so it's different. Offensively, our whole spring, I don't think there'll be anyone walking in the building here that wasn't here. So I'm more comfortable in that regard. Now it's just a matter of the continued execution. Great.